Good evening, my YouTube viewers. It is Palestine here. Welcome to my channel. I'm making another video that I was intending to make. And the reason why is because tomorrow I'm going to have to be studying Power Query. That's something that I'm going to have to study and I'm going to have to learn for this advanced Excel course that I'm putting together. And so basically something happened last night and I decided that I wanted to make a video about it. But then things happened this morning that are causing me a great deal of stress. And so basically, I'm still making the video, even though I'm under a lot of stress. I can't tell you what it's about, but obviously it's about my personal relationships. And it's causing me a lot of stress. And so basically, I'm just thinking about how unhappy I am and how sad I am about the whole situation. But somebody brought it to my attention that because of this situation, and it's causing me a lot of stress and unhappiness, that I could end up in Prospect Park Mental Hospital, just the stress of it all. So it is a very stressful situation that's affecting me, and I could end up in Prospect Park because of this business that's going on. And so I can't tell you what it is right now, but it is affecting me. But I would like to go ahead and cover the video that I was intending to make. So the title of this video is going to be something like, how does a person on heavy psychiatric medication present themselves? And the reason why is because I know quite a few people in the mental health community. And so because I used to go to this place called Your Way, and it was on Oxford Road, but they closed down Your Way and they moved it to another place and they changed the name to Together. And basically what has happened is the council and councils all over the UK are cutting funding. And so what they do is they cut funding to support they give to people in the mental health community, but they give funding to people who are addicts. So people in the mental health community don't get funding, but people who are drug addicts and alcoholics do get funding. And so there used to be a day center on Oxford Road where people in the mental health community could go Monday to Friday from 1 to 4, so they could sit in this day center and talk to other people, because people in the mental health community are generally sidelined. They're not supported, and basically when people find out you've been diagnosed with a mental illness, doesn't matter whether it's true or not, they don't want to know, they're not interested. And so I went to this day center called Your Way, and then I actually used to volunteer for them in the office, working in the office. But basically, while I went to this day center, I was being harassed at home. My flat was being vandalized inside and outside of the flat, and there were groups of people who were involved in it. Obviously, somebody was involved in it because I didn't vandalize my flat. But, because the police don't want to do anything about it, and the mental health profession don't want to do anything about it. So to make things easy on them, they said I was having a relapse of a mental illness because they didn't want to investigate my flat being vandalized. They didn't want to investigate inside and outside of the flat being vandalized. It was easier for them to say that I had a mental illness and was having a relapse than it was to actually investigate what was going on. And so, as a result of this, I do know a few people in the mental health community. And one thing that's pertinent about people in the mental health community is the fact that psychiatric drugs make you hungry. So people in the mental health community tend to be fat because the psychiatric drugs make them hungry, make them want to eat. They can't help it. They're hungry all the time, so they eat all the time. And basically, it causes problems for me because last year I was invited to a pizza party. And so we got to the pizza party at maybe 5:30. We got there maybe before we were supposed to be there. And these people had eaten all the pizza. And because they're mentally ill, they laughed. They thought it was funny that they ate all the pizza and there was no pizza left for my boyfriend and me. And I got upset and left because, obviously I had given up a free meal at Queen's Arms to go over there for a pizza party and not get any pizza. There were 2 tiny pieces of pizza, so my boyfriend had 1 piece and I had 1 piece, but they were tiny pieces of pizza like that. And so, because they're mentally ill, they laugh and they think it's funny that they've eaten all the food and there's no more food. So, because they're mentally ill, they don't know any better. And so that was one thing that you need to know. If you get invited to a party hosted by someone who is on psychiatric drugs, you might want to bring your own food because by the time you get there, all the food will have been eaten. And then, so that's one thing. Lots of people who are on psychiatric drugs are obese or morbidly obese. And so last night, something happened that made me want to make this video. And I was feeling really good last night. But this morning, some things happened that really upset me. And so I'm still very upset about what has happened. But I want to go ahead and make the video anyway that I was intending to make. So we went to the Depression Expression monthly group. It's held the second Monday of every month, and it was at this place called RISC. I'm not going to say what it's an acronym for because I don't give away my town, but it's an acronym for something. It's a solidarity group. And then so there's this lady there who we know. She doesn't go to the meetings very often. I've talked to her off and on for the past definitely 10 years. But she has a mental illness. And I saw her at Alana House and I was talking to her one time. And when I saw her the first time and was talking to me, she told me that she never had been sectioned, but that she was being treated by Prospect Park, the mental hospital. And then, so she told me her diagnosis, which was emotionally unstable personality disorder. And emotionally unstable personality disorder are used interchangeably with borderline personality disorder. So honestly, don't know why they will say borderline personality disorder for one person and emotionally unstable personality for another person, because they're both essentially the same thing. So I knew what her diagnosis was because she told me, and I knew what drug she was at the time. She told me that she had to take risperidone, which risperidone is used for bipolar disorder, schizoaffective disorder, schizophrenia, and I guess it's used for personality disorders as well. And risperidone is a mind-altering drug. And so basically what happened was, it was during COVID, and you know how people were becoming hysterical during COVID. Well, she objected to getting the vaccine, which is understandable because now, in hindsight, everybody's finding out just how bad those vaccines are for you. And she said that she sort of like got a vaccine because she kind of like was made to get one. And then she got a vaccine injury. And she was talking about getting a vaccine injury And I guess because she was talking about the vaccines, she was sectioned. And I don't think that's a good reason to section someone. I don't think you should section someone just because they don't want to get the COVID jab. I think that she was sectioned unjustly. I think it was a wrong reason to section her just because she didn't want to get the COVID jab. So then she got sectioned for that. And then after a while, it caused her to become paranoid because obviously she was talking about getting sectioned, and she said that she believed that her sisters were instrumental in getting her sectioned because one of her sisters is a GB. And so the simple fact that she got sectioned just because she didn't want to get a COVID jab caused her to become paranoid. And then so what happened was I didn't see her again. And then she said that I heard that she had been sectioned again. And she said that she had gone through a manic phase. So since I didn't know her very well, I didn't know what this manic phase was all about. So I didn't know what it was. And I know about bipolar disorder, that you can go through a manic phase and bipolar disorder, but I never heard of any manic phase for emotionally unstable personality disorder. But I think sometimes they can confuse emotionally unstable personality disorder or borderline personality disorder with bipolar disorder. So I don't know what her diagnosis is now, because another thing that they do in mental hospitals is they will change your diagnosis. And the reason why is because there's no test that you can perform to find out if somebody has a particular diagnosis. So they're always changing the diagnosis. And so I don't know what her diagnosis is now because I don't want to ask her. And when she got sectioned the first time because she was talking about the COVID jab, I think it caused her to become paranoid. All I know is the second time she got sectioned, she went on a manic phase. I have no idea what that was about. I don't know anything about that. And then, so she got out of the hospital. She said that they were going to have her living in like this halfway house. I don't know the name of the house, but it was like halfway between a mental hospital and a regular home. So they had her living in this halfway house. But then she went and she moved back into where she was living. And then she did something else. And I know what it was that she did, but I don't want to say what it was that she did because I want to preserve her anonymity. But she did something else, and it caused her to have to go into the hospital. And again, it deeply affected her. And so she had scars all over her face because what she did, she kept falling down. And because she kept falling down, she had cut herself. And so she had scars all over her face from where she kept falling down. And I can't say what it was that she did, but somebody, because she hadn't been on the Depression Expression WhatsApp group, so somebody hadn't heard from her. So they phoned the police and asked them to do a welfare check. And when the police came and did a welfare check, I believe they had to bust in the door, I'm not sure. They found her and they took her to the hospital. And so she was in the hospital and from what she had done. And so basically, that's going to tell you that if she had done something to herself to the extent that the police had to kick down the door and get her and take her to the hospital, don't you think she should have been put in Prospect Park? Well, no, she wasn't put in Prospect Park. So she was out and about, running town and everything like that. And I don't know very much about the medication that she was on after she got sectioned the first time. I just know that she became paranoid and she didn't want to talk about it anymore. And I don't know what medication she was on when she got sectioned the second time. And then so after she did this thing to harm herself, and she got put in the hospital. They didn't put her in Prospect Park, which I think they should have. So they let her go home. And then when she was home, she was running around, and she went to the Sikh temple, and she met my Sikh friend, and then they became friends, and they got involved with each other. And then something else happened. I don't know what, but again, she did something else to harm herself. And I don't know how she got found out. I don't know if she rang emergency services or if somebody found her, but she did something else, and that was quite dangerous. And so she was in the hospital again for a while because she had done some more damage to herself. And then basically what had happened was when they let her out of hospital in our town, they just put her in Prospect Park. They knew that she couldn't live on her own, that she needed to be in a mental hospital. So she was in Prospect Park for a while. And they decided that she couldn't live on her own, that they were going to make her move out of her apartment or her house and make her live in supported accommodation. So she was trying to get her house cleaned up so she could hand it over to the council, and she was going to be moving into this supported accommodation somewhere. And then like maybe a weekend or a week before she was supposed to go, they said that she couldn't move in there because basically what I heard was they were worried that she was going to do something again, and they couldn't let her live there if she was a danger to herself or anybody else. So she didn't get to move in there, but she was also living in another halfway house kind of place because she was not allowed to live back at her apartment. And then, so she was really upset that she didn't get to go live in this supported accommodation, but she didn't like living in this halfway house either. And so, something happened, so she couldn't live in supported accommodation because she was a danger to herself and maybe even others. And so they let her move back into this house. And so she's living back in this house, and she's got carers come. The carers have to come in the morning and the evening and administer her medication. And then carers also have to come and fix her dinner, fix her food. And I guess she can't have anything sharp around her. And then I don't know if they clean her house or not. I don't know. I just know that they administer her medication and they fix her food, but I don't know what else they do beyond that. And so I didn't really see much of her because she's actually more friends with my boyfriend than she is with me. Like, my boyfriend has her phone number and I don't. And my boyfriend has a WhatsApp number and I don't. I'm not even on WhatsApp. And she's friends with my Sikh friend. And so one of the things that I heard was that she was really mad at my boyfriend and me because we had become friends with the Sikh friend. But the thing is every time my Sikh friend went to see her, she would say, you have to leave. I don't feel well. You would have to leave. Or they would make plans to go places or do something, and she would say, I don't feel well, you have to leave. So as a friend, she's very unreliable. And so basically what happened was I saw her last night at Depression Expression. And so she's friends with my boyfriend more than she's friends with me. She's friends with my Sikh friend more than she's friends with me. So I sat 2 seats around from her, and I didn't say anything to her because she's more friends with my boyfriend and my Sikh friend than she is me. But I sat 2 seats away from her. And then I told my Sikh friend, I said, why don't you sit here? Because I was hoping that she and my Sikh friend could rekindle their friendship. And the reason for that is because I need help. But she didn't say anything to my Sikh friend. She didn't say anything to me. She didn't say anything to my boyfriend. She just sat there and didn't say anything to anybody. So during this meeting, we went around the meeting introducing ourselves. And the meeting didn't go on very long. And she said she had to leave. And so obviously my Sikh friend knows her. And he's friends with her. She's friends with him more than me. And my Sikh friend said, well, she has to go home because the carers are coming to administer her medication. So she has medication in the morning and medication in the evening. So she has to be home for the carers to be there to administer her medication. And then she left, and she just was just kind of like a zombie sitting there in the meeting. And so I don't know what psychiatric drugs she's on now, but I think they're pretty strong. I think they're pretty strong drugs because she's not capable of doing much. She's not capable of taking her own medication. Carers have to take her medication. She's not capable of fixing a meal. Carers have to fix the meal. I don't know if she's able to clean her flat. I don't know if carers come in and clean her flat. I don't know. But that's just what psychiatric medication has done to her. It's turned her into a zombie. And most people who are on psychiatric medication are like zombies because psychiatric medication, it's a sedative. And it's a sedative before it's anything else. And actually, psychiatric medication was marketed as sedatives before they were marketed as psychiatric medication. So I was hoping she would rekindle this friendship with my Sikh friend because obviously there's issues, and I'm trying to get my Sikh friend to make some more friends. And I was hoping they would rekindle that friendship, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. But my Sikh friend did tell me that she sent him a text message saying that she was so happy to see him. But when she was sitting in the meeting, she didn't say anything at all. And that's what psychiatric medication does to you. It turns you into a zombie. And I know I'm forced to take psychiatric medication because the UK government says I'm mentally ill, and they force me to take medication. And in order for me to get support from the government, I have to allow them to slander me. So if I wasn't on psychiatric medication, I know that my personality would be much different than it is now. So that's what I wanted to talk about in this video, about how people on psychiatric medication present themselves. So I've given you 3 examples, really. Given you an example of my friend who has paranoid schizophrenia that doesn't respond to treatment. And then somebody I know who has emotionally unstable personality disorder. And me, who they tell me that I have schizoaffective disorder. And the reason why I say that is because they never wanted to investigate my flat being vandalized. So I was given a diagnosis of that illness, and I've been slandered and labeled ever since. So thank you so much for watching this video. At least you have some insight into how a person on psychiatric medication presents themselves. If you like my video, please like and subscribe. I will be making other videos for you soon, and I personally hope that the stress in my life abates, because somebody said to me today that if I keep getting all this stress, that I could end up in the mental hospital again. And that's something that I do not want to happen, because I have a job and I definitely will lose my job if anything like that happens. So please pray that this stress in my life clears up so I don't end up back in Prospect Park again. And thank you for watching my video, and thank you for taking an interest in my very pathetic life.